children, I hope you all are good. Once again I am here with the new and very interesting topic of civics, that is secularism. And in this chapter we are going to understand the term secularism, why it is considered as the soul of the constitution, different types of the fundamental rights, human rights and rights of marginalized. So let's start the chapter with the term secularism. See beta, before independence we were struggling a lot to get the independence from the British, and we have struggled collectively. There was a feeling of nationalism also, so many national movements were there to get the freedom. But our objective was not only this, that India will get its only independence. No. We want that after independence, we transform the Indian society into the different political situation, different society, different economic situation, where every citizen of India get the equal platform, equal opportunities to the development of the society, for the development of the countries, where everyone can live equally free and enjoy many rights. So that's why our freedom fighters and our constitution maker, they have decided whenever they are going to make the constitution, they try to transform the Indian society. So let's start with the vision in the Indian constitution. During the freedom struggle, secularism surfaced as the most dominant theory at that time. The leaders of the INC, Indian National Congress, Gandhi, Nehru, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad and many other leaders, they strongly committed to the ideal of secularism. Although it was described in various manners by each of them. But yes, they want that there should be the secularism in the constitution in the India. But what exactly is secularism? That we need to understand. Secularism is the term, is the state where any particular country is not declaring any official religion of the country, where everyone is equal and nobody is going to discriminate on the name of religion. See, when India got its freedom in 1947, the subcontinent found itself surrounded by wave of religious frenzy. Lots of discrimination, lots of conflict among the religions, especially Hindu and Muslim. And you know, we got the independence by the division of the India. We divided on the name of religious line, Pakistan and India. So at that time, there were so many people and so many leaders who wanted that India should declare as a Hindu state. But the credit goes to our great leader. They resisted this temptation that no, we are not going to declare India as a Hindu state. Just right now, we have divided on the name of religion and got the two nations, India and Pakistan. So now we are not going to declare Hindu state. That's why the word secular was in fact added to the preamble by 42nd Amendment, and which came into force in 1976. It means beta, on the time of adoption of the constitution, when Indian constitution came into the effect, the secularism word was not written there for India. But 42nd Amendment given, and then in 1976 secularism came into force in India. So secularism means, it signifies the threefold, in between, amongst the man, state and religion. The word secularism means nobody is going to discriminate on the basis of religion. India is a secular state because it is going to protect all the religion at equal level and does not uphold any official religion, any state religion. India don't have any state religion. The Indian constitution aims at the social order where the state would be sovereign, secular, and the government should elected by the people, and the government should accountable to the people. So what were the objectives of our preamble? So first objective of the preamble was justice. Justice means the citizen cannot be discriminated on the ground of caste, creed, gender, religion, etc. Everyone get the equal justice. Liberty means freedom, where citizens are free to choose their own way of life. 6 types of freedom had been given, provided under the fundamental rights to the Indian citizen. Then equality. All citizens are equal before the law. That you have to understand. That in the eyes of law, every citizen is equal. People pertaining to the various religion, whether they are rich, whether they are poor, men, women of different castes, they all are having the equal status, equal access to the judiciary. Everyone will get the equal opportunities. Then next objective of preamble is the fraternity. Fraternity means where we can unite and integrate the whole country. Means the people live in the brotherhood. They live in the peace and harmony. So there is a need to sense of a brotherhood and solidarity among the different groups. So thus the constitution encourages this word, this term fraternity, to overcome any communal feeling among various community. So in totality we can say the constitution signifies the vision of the secular, democratic and republic. Secular, democratic and republic as set by its founders. This was the clear vision of the maker of the Indian Constitution. It plays about the goals for which one has to struggle. Then if we are going to discuss about secularism got translated into law, how it converted into law. For Indian, secularism represents a true sense of synthesis of religion, compassion with the spirit of tolerance. We need to be tolerant for other religion also. The ideal of secularism equal respect for the belief of multi-faith society. Anyone is Muslim, anyone is Hindu, anyone is Buddhist or Jainist, etc. We have to respect the other religion also, their faith also, their belief also, and non-interference of the government in the religious affair. It is the best guarantee for the continuing unity of the country. If we are going to respect our religion, if we are having a faith in our religion, so that is our duty that we have to respect. We have to tolerate the ideas, the faith of the other religion also. Give respect them. Then only we can become the secular country. This ideal got embedded in the Indian Constitution in the form of article which provide the framework for the laws of the nation. According to article, you have to remember the article number 14 to 21. This is the main point. Under article 14 to 21, it has been prescribed no discrimination provision authorizes legalization opening Hindu religious institution of a public character to all classes and all sections of the India. To prevent any discrimination based on caste or temple entry, laws have been enacted by many of the state legislatures. Nobody can force you or deny you that you cannot enter into particular temple. No, such types of the law came into effect in Indian society. The central untouchability offence, because basically problem was with the untouchable people, those who were previously not allowed to enter into the temple. But this central untouchability offence says Act of 1955. It provides that any attempt to prevent the Harijan from exercising the right to enter a temple is a punishable offence and can be imprisonment to the person who is going to deny them or stop them not to enter into the temple. So this is one of the case where ideal of secularism got converted into law, because there we have made the law so that people can understand and we can force the people that you cannot discriminate person on the basis of untouchability. It illustrates that a secular civil law is equally applicable to all citizens. So it means that sometimes we have to convert or transform the secularism into the law. Now secularism is translated into the fundamental rights also. We interpret it into the fundamental rights. Every society makes certain rules to govern, to regulate the conduct of human being. If there is no rule na beta, so it will become the jungle raj. So to conduct the human beings attitude, we need a law. So what is recognized by the society as rightful becomes the basis of rights. That is why the notion of rights changes from time to time and from society to society. What type of the fundamental rights we need to provide the people and how they are going to be enforceable. The Constitution of India describes the state as a secular. So everybody understand, okay, India is now a secular country. So this means a state does not observe any social or any religious stratification. Every citizen is equal before the state. So to strengthen this ideal, the Indian Constitution provides few fundamental rights to its citizens. Fundamental rights are protected and guaranteed by the Constitution. The word fundamental means these rights are inviolable. Nobody can deny that you cannot use these rights. No organ of governments can violate your rights. The Indian judiciary is having a power and Indian judiciary is having a responsibility to protect these rights. So let's discuss what are the fundamental rights. The first right which we have given by our Constitution, that is right to equality. Article 14 to 18 refers that the equality of every citizen before the law and equality of opportunity in the employment. But it doesn't mean that the reservation policy for the backward classes or SC/ST, it is not the equality. That reservation has made under some provision because they were so much backward and we need to give them reservation so that they can come up and compete with the other community. So that is the exceptional. But Article 14 to 18, this says that every citizen is equal before the law. It has been argued that equality means giving everyone equal opportunities to achieve whatever one is capable for. So every citizen shall have access to the public places maintained by the government for the use of the general public. Nobody can deny you why you are sitting in this public park, why you are using this public transport. You are having right to equality. And moreover, in the eyes of law also you are equal. If the same offense done by you or me or the Prime Minister or President, the same law will prevail for everyone. Same punishment. So it means everyone is equal. Now the second fundamental right has been provided by our Constitution is right to freedom. Equality and liberty, they are the two most important rights essential for democracy. See, democracy can run when we are providing the equality and liberty. This is the spirit of the democracy. Liberty means freedom. And now what type of freedom? Because freedom is endless. So freedom of thought, freedom of speech and expression. However, it does not mean unrestricted liberty to act. The freedom to do whatsoever a citizen may wish to do. So the Constitution defined freedom in such a beautiful manner that every person enjoy his freedom without threatening the freedom of others. Because beta, freedom is endless. So we need to restrict it also. That's why 6 types of the freedom has been given under the right to freedom, where it is clearly mentioned that you cannot harm or restrict the other freedom. Now, industrialist and MP Naveen Jindal's fight for flying the national flag in his factory premises is the best example of exercising freedom of speech and expression, because it has been guaranteed by our Constitution under the Article 19(1). Article 19(1). On 24 January 2004, the Supreme Court ordered that right to fly the national flag freely with the respect and dignity is a fundamental right of a citizen. Previously, it was not allowed that you can fly the national flag at your home. But they went to the court and asked for this. That is our fundamental right, that we respect our national flag and we can also fly our national flag at our building. So that's why Supreme Court ordered this, that you can do this, but with the great dignity. So thus the ideal of secularism have been incorporated in this fundamental right, giving equal opportunities to all the religions. So you can see secularism is incorporated in the different fundamental rights also. Now next right is right against exploitation. You can see in the picture also, this is a picture related to the child labor, where you can see the children are having the bricks on their heads. So this is also wrong. Our constitution has provided us the fundamental right against exploitation, and that is mentioned in article 23-24. This right prohibits child labor. Nobody can do or compel the children to do the child labor. The constitution also prohibits the practices of the forced and bonded labor. So right against exploitation, save the children, poor children, those who are engaged in the working, hard working, physical working, when they have to do the study. So this is one of the wonderful right given by the constitution. Then again next is the right to freedom of religion. This is almost directly related to the secularism, that Constitution of India recognized the liberty of religious observance both by individual and as well as by the association. According to Article 25, all those who are residing in India are free to profess, to practice, to propagate, to worship their religion of their own choice, but without harming the other. So freedom of religion has been given by our constitution, that you can practice your religion in any way, but without violence and without harming the other religion. You want to take the fast for 2 days, 3 days, do it. You want a simple, cool, calm rally for any religious practice, you can do it. But make sure you are not violent, make sure you are not attacking on the another religious belief. So conversion to any religion of one's choice is also a fundamental right. If you want to convert your religion, you can do it. But yes, if forcibly, if anybody is going to do this, this is wrong. So fundamental right says that you with your own choice can convert your religion. The freedom of religion guarantees under the Indian Constitution is not confined to its citizen alone, but it extends to the all person, including the alliance also. So this point was underlined by Supreme Court in Ratilal Panchanand versus State of Bombay. This was the case at that time in 1954 relating to the foreign Christian missionaries. They were present in India who were propagating their faith among the believers of other religion. So that was mentioned in our by the Supreme Court also. कि conversion by own choice is fundamental right, but conversion by force is not a fundamental right. Next, the cultural and educational right. Indian society is a study in diversity, which is also the strength of India. See, we are having the multi-diverse in the language, in the culture, in the tradition, everywhere. We enjoy this diversity. And the Indian Constitution tried to strengthen this diversity by maintaining the unity. So, the Indian Constitution guarantees the right of minority to conserve their culture. Article 29 has provided such a fundamental right where they are going to protect them. The founding fathers were very particular in providing written guarantees of the rights of minorities. And our Article 30. This Article 30 says that all minorities, whether based on religion or any language or any caste or creed, they shall have right to establish and administer educational institution of their choice. For example, St. Stephen's College, GTB Khalsa schools and Khalsa colleges, etc. They are the minority community in India, but they can open their institution, they can open their schools, colleges, library, etc. but without harming the others. That we need to understand. Now what Mahatma Gandhi says? Mahatma Gandhi says, it was of my religion, I will die for it. But it is my personal affair. The state has nothing to do with it. The state would look after your secular welfare, health, communication, foreign relation, currency, etc. but not me and my religion. This is my personal choice and personal concern. It was clearly mentioned by Mahatma Gandhi. Now moving to the next fundamental right, that is right to constitutional remedies, and under Article 32, the Indian Constitution seeks to protect all above rights. See beta, if Constitution has given us such fundamental rights, what happened if anybody is violating the rights? If anybody is denying, no, I am not going to accept your fundamental rights, then what will you do? Then this right has been given to you. This is the right which is going to guarantees the protection of other rights. If this right will not there, na, so other right is not having value. Means no, anybody can deny. So what has been written in this constitutional remedies right, that if anybody is going to violate your right, you can directly approach to the High Court or Supreme Court. So this right make other rights enforceable by law. So right to seek enforcement of the above mentioned rights through courts. Judiciary is thus constituted as a protector, as a guarantor of other fundamental rights. So objective of all these fundamental rights is to sustain and to nurture secularism. This is the objective of fundamental rights, the concept of which acquires a significance that extends beyond mere separation of religion and state to stand for abolition of the practices of untouchability. This should be abolished. And then promotion of casteless society, where everyone can live in peace and harmony, where unity can be maintained. The various state government in India have announced special incentives to the intercaste marriage couple also, as also preference in the government job to them under certain circumstances. So Supreme Court of India has directed the government to provide security to such a couple who have done the intercaste marriage, that nobody can threaten them, nobody can harm them because they have marriage to the different caste. So that also says by Supreme Court that it is the responsibility of the state to give them the protection. The Indian Constitution offers a wide range of rights to the Indian citizens. Fundamental rights are not only the rights Indian citizens have. Rights such as right to freedom of press, right to information, RTI, right to education, they are derived from all the other fundamental rights. Right to Information Act came into force in October 2005. This RTI gave transparency to our democracy, because from this RTI, the citizens are empowered to question the functioning of the government, inspect their files, take copies of the government documents, and also to inspect government work. You can ask the question from the government mechanism, how your MLA or MP or how this department is going to do work, what are the budgets and where you are going to be spent. But yes, except defense matter. If it is defense matter, you cannot use the RTI. But yes, otherwise for the other department, other MPs, MLAs, you can use the RTI, and this provides transparency, empowers us. In 1976, in Rajnarayan versus State of UP. See, many cases has came up in your chapter, na? So Rajnarayan versus State of UP, the Supreme Court. What did it elaborate? The Article 1921 of the Constitution. Supreme Court emphasized that India is a democratic country, and it is the people who are the real master. They can any time after the regular interval of election change the ruling party. So they are the masters. Therefore, the master have right to know how the government doing the work, which is meant to serve them, is functioning. Now, fundamental rights as human rights. Human rights are universal, they are moral claim, and they may or may not have been recognized by law. Some of the human rights are recognized by the law, but some may not have recognized by law. The growing awareness of moral rights across the world has meant greater pressure on the government to accept these claims. The Universal Declaration of the Human Rights came into effect into 1948. Though they are not directly a part of the fundamental right, but yes, they are recognized by the standard of human rights, by international conventions on economic, social and cultural rights. Now, what are those human rights? Let's discuss. Number one, we are having a rights to work, opportunity to everyone to earn a livelihood by the work. Right to safe and healthy working condition and fair wages should provide it, and decent standard of living for worker and their family. This is our human right. Then third, right to adequate standard of living, adequate food, adequate clothes and housing should be provided. Right to social security and insurance facilities. Right to health, medical care during illness, special care for women during the childbirth and prevention of the epidemic. Then right to education, free and compulsory primary education and equal access to the higher education. So these are the human rights which has been provided by our constitution. The real test of the constitutional rights lies in the actual implementation. When we are looking at these rights, we feel very happy. Wow, we got so many rights that we can enjoy, we can flourish. But the question is that whether these rights are implementing in the society, whether these rights are executing in the society. You can see this right to safe and healthy working condition. So many times we have seen that women are suffering a lot at the working place. When the night shift they are doing the job, they are not providing the transportation to go home. Then how they are safe? That is the question mark, कि there is a security or not. So meaning is that these rights are very good. Now turn is that we need to implement or execute in the society. So one of the foremost of the government established once the NHRC, that is National Human Rights Commission. NHRC, it was set up in 2000 to prevent the violation of any citizen rights. Now after all these rights, we are having a duty also. So many rights we have enjoyed. Let's discuss the fundamental duties. Duties and rights, they are the two sides of the same coins, or you can say the two faces. The enjoyment of rights involves the fulfillment of certain obligation, that is known as duties. In society, the duty of one individual become the right of other. Okay, it is our duty that we have to protect its rights. So if I am performing my duty well, then it means I am giving him or her a chance to enjoy his rights. So in 1976, through the 42nd Amendment, the Indian Constitution has incorporated a set of fundamental duties also. For the citizen, it was added to the Chapter 4, Article 51A, and there are 10 fundamental duties had been given. But yes, of course, beta, fundamental rights are enforceable by law, but these duties are not enforceable by law. So first duty, to abide the constitution and respect national flag and national anthem. We always say you, whenever you listen the national flag, please stand straight. National anthem, please respect your national flag. To cherish and follow the noble ideals, to inspire the national struggle of freedom. Then protect our sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. Be tolerance in your thought. Protect the unity, maintain the unity. Defend the country. Never be negative about your country. Very positive. Defend always. And to promote the spirit of common brotherhood. Live in the peace and harmony. With cool, calm nature. Don't be violent. To preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. We are having so many composite culture, architecture work, monuments, building. That is our duty. To protect them. To protect and improve the natural environment. Day by day we are increasing the one or another type of the pollution. This is our duty, not only the government duty. That we have to prevent such types of the pollution. We have to prevent the natural environment. To develop scientific temper and spirit of inquiry. Be curious. Blindfold, superstitious, not done. Inquire. Scientific temper should be there. And to safeguard the public property. You are using the public transport, you are using the public park, and you are making, you are destroying them also. You are throwing the garbage in the park. This is very wrong. So make them neat and clean and used properly. Then to strive towards the excellence in all spheres of individual, collectively and actively. So there is no provision in the constitution that these duties are enforceable by law. But yes, we are expecting that people are going to perform these duties when they are going to enjoy their fundamental rights also. To maintain the peace and harmony, to maintain the country well, we need to perform these duties. Unfortunately, many of us fight for our rights, but we are not going to pay attention to our duties. We are not ready to perform our duties. Nobody. But yes, rights we want. This is the problem. So what we have to do, along with the fundamental rights, please perform your duty well. Now, right of the marginalized. The Constitution of India is based on principle that guided India's struggle against the colonial regime, where the civil, political, social, economic and cultural rights of the people of India were completely destroyed. What we have to do? We have to protect the rights of marginalization. Now, the freedom struggle itself witnessed many movements of the social reform against oppressive social practice, sati pratha, child marriage, untouchability, etc. That's why by mid-1920s, the Indian National Congress had already adopted most of the civil and political rights in its agenda. The movement led by Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar, against the discrimination of Dalit. While fundamental rights focus largely on the rights of every individual, in the mid-70s, a new human rights discourse based on a group rights, collective rights, people's rights, etc. This was mainly aimed at making the marginalized group aware of their rights and familiarize them with the laws made to protect their rights for their upliftment. So there is a time where we need to uplift our marginalized group, those who were very socially and economic backward. We need to protect them. While the fundamental right focus largely on the rights of individual, but yes, we have worked a lot to upliftment of them. In India, women are discriminated against on various grounds also. That comes also in the marginalized group. They are facing the domestic violence inside. Outside also sometimes they are facing the harassment, any other things. In same way, caste poses lots of problem in social arena. The emergence of women's movement in 1970s gave a new dimension to the discourse in India. What happened in 1974? The Committee on the Status of Women in India submitted a report and highlighted them marginalized of women in every sphere of life. This said, the emergence of number of women's groups such as self-employed, Women's Association, Seva, then Manushi, Joint Women's Forum raised a new consciousness and the public debate on the issues of women's status, domestic violence, dowry, rape cases, trafficking and the invisible labor of women in the household. They raised this issue and they asked for the women's rights. The women's movement not only exists critically the Indian patriarchal casteism and feudalism, it has also promoted the new awareness of women's rights. Why there is a patriarchal society? Why not the maternal society? So it began as a large urban movement. Over a period of 40 years, women movement has emerged one of the most articulate and widespread movement in all over the world also. India with the new campaigns of women's political participation and rights. It is partly because of the pressure from these movements that 73rd and 74th amendment in the constitution provided 33% of reservation for women at local self-government. Means we are having the third tier of government, local self-government, which we say is Panchayati Raj in the village, rural area, and which we say the municipal corporation or municipality in the urban area. So women's movement has played a very important role in ensuring the participation of women in electoral process and the governance also. Now one case study has been given to you, the turmoil of the Nandigram, that we will discuss. Nandigram is in West Bengal. This is the current example of the violation of marginalized sections' rights. Now what happened? The population of Nandigram mostly consists of SC caste, scheduled caste. The seizure of land in Nandigram by the state government for setting up an SAYS announced on 2nd January 2007 under the Land Acquisition Act is what sparked the tragedy. Why? On 3rd January, a group of villagers increased by the news and marched to the local panchayat office. The police were done the lathi charge etc. to the protester. The villagers retaliated, and in ensuring violence, 11 people were killed there. What followed? Since then, it is a part of history, but the whole episode was once again ignited the issue of violation of weaker sections' rights, because that was their right, but the government has seized the property. It has been alleged that while finalizing the deal, the government overlooked the fundamental and constitutional rights of these people also, whether they are marginalized. But what you have done? The development is good for any reason, but at what cost? Have you compensated them when you taking their lands? So when it comes at the cost of trampling of any rights, then this development we don't need. It is unlawful. National Human Rights Commission NHRC Chairman Justice S. Rajendra Babu rightly observed that whether is this group of that group, ultimately it is the minority group that suffer always. Various groups, association and intellectual came forward to support the Nandigrams SC's community. A group of non-resident Indians exercised their rights information by filing an RTI plea to know why government failed to protect their rights. So that RTI works. So through this case study, you came to know that this is our fundamental duty, that we need to protect the rights of marginalized people. Let's discuss the important point which came in this chapter. Number 1, the constitution is a document that specifies how the state is going to be governed. Then we have discussed Indian constitution is based on certain fundamental rights based on the idea justice, equality, liberty and fraternity. Then we have discussed the constitution reflects the vision of the secular democratic state that is founded on freedom of conscience, right to the freedom of speech and expression. Then to respect the ideals of secularism and democracy, the constitution provides some fundamental rights to its citizens, and these rights are very, very important that the constitution has separately listed them and made special provision to protect these fundamental rights. So that's end for the chapter. I hope you understand each and every concept. Please do the exercise carefully.